All right, so we're going to go over the warm ups for October 13th through October 16th. So let's begin. Question one. What is the difference between structure and function? So I know that structure is how an object is composed or how it's made, and the function is what it does. So let's go through the answers. The structure is what an object does, like a job, and the function is the shape and composition of an object. Well, actually, I believe and I know that it's actually the opposite. So A is incorrect. B, the structure makes an object bigger. Well, we know that's magnification, so it can't be structure. So B is incorrect. C, the structure is the shape and composition of an object, and the function is what an object does, like a job. Yeah, exactly. So C looks like it's correct, but let's just make sure. D, the structure is the shape and composition of an object, and the function makes an object bigger. Again, making an object bigger is magnification, and so the correct answer is C. We're going to use the picture on the left to answer question two. It says use the image on the left to label the cell with the correct organelle. So number one, it looks like it's pointing to this light blue area. This light blue area fills in all the empty spaces where organelles are not present, so that is our cytoplasm. Two, I'm looking at this big organelle. And so I know this has a nucleus and it has a cell wall, so this must be a plant cell. And I know in plant cells, our vacuoles are going to be our largest organelles. So number two is going to be a vacuole and three. So I have a bunch of green little blobs. Again, I know this is a plant cell, and I know that in order, if mitochondria is already identified in the pink, I know I also need chloroplast, and that's going to be green because of the chlorophyll. It reflects the light and makes it green, and so that is going to be our chloroplast. And so the cell picture to the left represents what type of cell. We just talked about it. It's a plant cell because one, it has a nucleus, so it can't be a bacteria cell. A virus isn't a cell. And then we know that it has a chloroplast, a large vacuole, and a cell wall, so that makes it a plant cell. Four, what is the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells? Well, we know that pro rhymes with no, and so we know prokaryotic cells don't have a nucleus, and eu rhymes with do, so eukaryotic cells do have a nucleus. So, A, prokaryotic cells have DNA. Well, yes, that's true. And eukaryotic cells do not have DNA. Well, we know that all living things have to have DNA, so that's incorrect. B, prokaryotic cells have a nucleus and eukaryotic cells do not have a nucleus. Well, pro doesn't rhyme with do and eu doesn't rhyme with no, so no, that's incorrect. B is wrong. Prokaryotic cells do have a nucleus and do not have a nucleus, and eukaryotic cells do have a nucleus. So pro rhymes with no, eu rhymes with do. This one's looking like the correct answer. And then D, prokaryotic cells do not have DNA. Well, again, we know that's not true. Our bacteria are organisms. And so, in order for it to be an organism considered alive, it has to have DNA. So, prokaryotic cells do have DNA. So, that's incorrect. So, the correct answer is C. Five, what is the difference between vacuoles in plants and animal cells? So, animal cells have multiple small vacuoles and plant cells have large ones. Well, that's true. So our plant cells are going to have one large vacuole. It's going to be like the largest organelle in that cell, in a plant cell. And animal cells, we still have vacuoles, but they're going to be small and sometimes we have multiple. So A is looking like the correct answer. B, animal cells have a vacuole, plant cells do not have a vacuole. Well, that's incorrect. We know that both plant and animal cells do have vacuoles. C, animal cells have one large vacuole and plant cells have multiple small vacuoles. No, that's incorrect. We know that plant cells have a large one and animal cells have small ones. And then D, animal cells do not have a vacuole. Again, we know that animal and plant cells both have a vacuole, so D is incorrect. So A is our right answer. Six, what scientific discovery is Matthias Schleiden credited for? So A, the discovery of cells. No, that's Robert Hooke. B, the discovery of bacteria. No, that's Anton van Leeuwenhoek. And C, the discovery of animal cells. The discovery that animals are made of cells. Well, that's Theodore Schwann because Schwann reminds me of a swan, and a swan is an animal. And so the discovery that all plants are made of cells. So Matthias Schleiden, he discovered that plants are made of cells. What are the three parts of cell theory? So I know that all living things are made of cells. Goes back to the characteristics of life. That's true. I know that all cells are produced from other cells. That's also true. Cells don't just appear out of thin air. And all cells have a nuclei. Well, that's incorrect because prokaryotic cells are a bacteria. They don't have a nuclei, but they're a living organism. So that's not true. So B, all living things are made of cells. Yes, all cells are produced from other cells. Yes, cells are the basic unit of structure and function. Also, yes, because we know this from the levels of organization and the definition of a cell that cells are the basic unit of structure and function. So B is looking like a good answer. C, all cells are produced from other cells. Yep, all cells have a nuclei. There that one is again. That's not true, so it's not C. And D, all cells produce from other cells. Yes, that's true. All cells have specific functions. Well, that's true. Cells have a specific function, but it's not a part of cell theory. And cells are the basic unit of structure and function. That's also true, but again, we go back to the middle part. All cells have a specific function. It's true, cells have a specific function, but again, it's not a part of cell theory. So our answer to question 7 is B. And so we're matching the organelle to its function. Our nucleus, it's our brain. It contains the DNA that's making all the decisions for the cell. So it's the brain of the cell and contains genetic information. Mitochondria, that's our powerhouse of the cell. That's where cellular respiration is occurring. It's converting that glucose into ATP energy. So cellular respiration occurs in this organelle. And it's the powerhouse of the cell. A vacuole, that's going to store our food, water, and waste. So it's our storage bin. Cytoplasm, that's going to be that jelly-like fluid that fills in all the extra spaces around the organelle and protects them. So a jelly-like substance that supports and protects the organelle. Cell membrane, that's our border control. It's the cell membrane is deciding what's going to go in and what's going to go out. Typically what goes in is our nutrients and what's going to go out is our waste. But it controls what enters and leaves the cell. It's our border control. The cell wall is like the cell wall to a plant is like a skeleton to our mammals. And so our cell wall is going to support and protect the cell, and it gives the organism its structure. And then last but not least, chloroplast, that's where photosynthesis occurs in our plant cells. So photosynthesis occurs in this organelle, in the chloroplast. Number 9, which of the following statement accurately represents the difference between plant and animal cells? So again, only plant cells have a cell wall, chloroplast, and large vacuole. Well, that makes sense because cell wall, again, is like the cell wall to a plant is like a skeleton to a human. Chloroplast, you need chloroplasts to perform photosynthesis so they can create their own glucose, create their own food. They're autotrophic. Animals, we don't need to make our own food. We consume our own food. We're heterotrophic. So it makes sense that plant cells have chloroplasts and animal cells don't. And then again, a large vacuole. Our plant cells have a large vacuole where animal cells have multiple small vacuoles. So A is looking like a good choice. B, only animal cells have a cell wall, chloroplasts, and multiple small vacuoles. Well, that's not true. Again, animal cells don't need a cell wall, and we don't need chloroplasts. C, only plant cells have a cell membrane, mitochondria, and cytoplasm. No, that's not true. Both plant and animal cells have those organelles. D, only animal cells have a cell membrane, mitochondria, and cytoplasm. Again, we know that both plant and animal cells have those organelles. So A is our correct answer. And last question, use the photo below to answer the following questions. So we have a protozoa, which is our protists in kingdom Protista. We have a tree, which is a plant in kingdom Plantae. We have a mushroom, which is in kingdom Fungi. And then we have a dog, which is in kingdom Animalia. So all fall under domain Eukarya. And so according to cell theory, what do each of the following organisms have in common? They can also reproduce by spontaneous generation. Well, we know that they're either going to reproduce asexually or sexually. They're not going to spontaneously create new life, especially with our dog, who's a mammal. We know that they reproduce sexually and they need a partner in order to be able to reproduce. So A is incorrect. B, each organism is able to photosynthesize. Again, we know that our trees, they have the chloroplasts in their cells, so they can, but like our dog and our mushroom's a decomposer and our dog is a heterotroph, both heterotrophs, they have to consume their food in order to get their energy. So B is incorrect. C, cells are the basic unit of structure for each organism. So if we're talking about cell theory relating to how cells are related to living things, and we know that all four of these are living things, and in order for them to be living things, they have to possess the 7 characteristics of life. And one of the characteristics is that they have to have cells, either one or more. And so C is looking like a good choice to me. In D, each organism gives birth to live young. Well, we know our dog is a mammal. Yes, she's gonna give birth to live young, but our mushroom, our tree, and our protozoa, not necessarily, they're not gonna give birth to live young. So D is not correct. C is our correct answer. So those were the answers for this week's warm-ups. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your teacher for more help. Thank you.